Essay number 67, Things Your 20s Are Too Short For. Your 20s are slipping through your fingers right now. While you're watching this, while you're scrolling, while you're waiting for life to begin. And I need to tell you something, you're wasting them on the wrong things. Not in the way your parents mean when they tell you to stop partying or to get a real job. I'm talking about the real waste, the things that actually steal your 20s from you while you're not paying attention. Let's start with the most insidious one, letting anybody convince you that because you're young, you're incapable. Plato started his political career before he was 20. Steve Jobs was 21 when he co-founded Apple. Zuckerberg created Facebook in his dorm room. Imagine where we'd be if they'd listened to everyone who said, "What could you possibly know?" But you're listening, aren't you? You're sitting in meetings, biting your tongue because someone older is talking. You're not pitching that idea because who are you to suggest anything? You're waiting for permission to be brilliant. Stop waiting. Your age isn't a limitation. It's the reason you see things differently. It's exactly why your perspective matters. And while we're talking about what you're wasting time on, let's discuss those arguments you keep having. You know the ones. With people whose only intention is to prove themselves right. They're not listening to understand you. They're listening for their turn to talk, for the gap where they can insert their pre-prepared rebuttal. You don't owe these people your energy. You don't owe them the exhausting dance of trying to be heard by someone who's already decided not to listen. Every minute you spend in these circular arguments is a minute you're not spending on conversations that actually matter. Then there are the people who can't get their shit together. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The friend who's been in crisis for 3 years straight. The person who asks for advice but never takes it. The one who needs you to pretend everything's fine when it's clearly not. You end up nodding along with their delusions because you don't want every interaction to turn into a fight. But here's what happens. The resentment builds. The relationship crumbles anyway, and you've wasted months or years placating someone who wasn't interested in changing. And God, the justifications. How much of your 20s are you spending explaining yourself to people who only care about how your choices affect their image? The parent who's worried about what to tell the relatives about your unconventional career. The friend who's embarrassed by your new relationship. The ex who needs you to fail to validate their narrative. These people will squawk the loudest about your choices, not because they care about your well-being, but because they care about how you fit into their story. Stop auditioning for a role in someone else's life. Which brings me to the people you keep around out of obligation. The high school friends you don't actually like anymore. The family members who drain you. The ex you stay friends with because it seems mature. You're keeping these people in your life because you should. Because it's easier than having the conversation. Because you're afraid of what someone will think if you're finally honest. But you're not required to maintain relationships that expired years ago. You're not obligated to keep toxic people in your contacts just because you have history. And speaking of exes, stop holding on to love that's already run its course. Stop gripping relationships that ended months ago in every way except officially. Stop staying because you're afraid this was your one shot at love. The purpose of most great love isn't to last forever. It's to crack you open, teach you what you need to know, and send you on your way to something better. Your irrational fear that you've already experienced your greatest love is keeping you from finding the love that's actually meant to stay. Your 20s are too short for eating food you don't like at restaurants, you don't want to be at with people you don't enjoy. They're too short for keeping plans that make you feel dread. For staying connected on social media with people who annoy you every time they post. For hoarding clothes for a someday that never comes. For putting your life on hold for someone who does not and will never want to commit. The amount of life we waste gathering and holding on to things that will never serve us does one thing. It keeps us from the things that actually matter. Every moment you spend on obligation is a moment stolen from joy. But here's what's worse than wasting time on the wrong things: not taking time to figure out what the right things are. You're so afraid of not having a 5-year plan that you're not even asking yourself what you want tomorrow to look like. You're so scared of not knowing your purpose that you're not exploring anything at all. You're running in circles someone else drew for you because you haven't taken the time to draw your own. It's okay to not know. It's okay to be figuring it out. What's not okay is pretending you have it all together when you don't, because that pretense keeps you from the messy, necessary work of discovery. And while we're talking about necessary work, when are you going to heal those childhood wounds? The things that shaped you will be the constructs that only you can dismantle. You can do it now while you're still adaptable and developing, or you can wait until life forcibly breaks down your walls for you. The choice is yours. It always will be. Stop judging people for making choices that seem wrong to you. That marriage that makes no sense, maybe it's exactly what they need to learn what they need to learn. That unplanned pregnancy, maybe it's the catalyst for growth they couldn't have planned. That friend who seems to be wasting their life, maybe they're gathering the experiences that will create something extraordinary later. Every single thing serves a purpose. You don't know what someone needs to go through to become who they're meant to be. Your 20s are too short to not learn how to live within your means, whatever those means might be. It doesn't matter if you're making minimum wage or 6 figures. If you don't learn to manage what you have now, the same financial chaos will follow you no matter how much you make later. They're too short for putting off the things you want most until it's more convenient. If you're looking for a reason not to do something, you'll always find one. If you're looking for a way to make it happen, you'll find that too. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. They don't exist. Don't burn bridges over minor frustrations. That coworker who annoyed you might be the one who recommends you for your dream job 3 years from now. That ex you want to destroy on social media might introduce you to your future spouse. You're in no position to know which connections you'll need. Learn to exit gracefully so doors stay open. Leave that job where you're miserable. I'm not saying you'll find your dream job tomorrow, but anybody who's accomplished anything worthwhile at a young age had one thing in common. They kept putting themselves out there. They were at the right place at the right time because they consistently showed up. Create your own luck by increasing your chances. Leave that relationship where you're settling because there's nobody else around. The same way terrible temporary jobs become terrible decades at the same job, relationships you settle for become marriages you settle for. Don't let your fear of being alone make you choose the wrong person to be with forever. Experiment with your appearance. Cut your hair. Change your style. Try things that scare you. You're going to be in this body for the rest of your life, and it's going to change whether you want it to or not. Get comfortable with transformation now, while you still have some control over it. Learn to say sorry when you've messed up. Learn to say thank you when someone's helped you, not for how it makes you look, but because you can recognize when you could have done better and when you've been given grace. Say it to your parents, your exes, your teachers, strangers, but most importantly, to yourself. Order pizza at 4 in the morning, eat cake for breakfast, kiss that stranger, give your number to the person you've been eyeing across the bar, take that road trip and sleep in your car. Do the slightly irresponsible, but ultimately harmless things you're tempted to do, but usually don't have the guts for. Do it. Your 30 self will thank you for the stories. Stop waiting for something outside to fix what's inside. The next relationship won't heal your loneliness. The next job won't cure your anxiety. The next apartment won't solve your restlessness. The internal follows you into the external, always, until you address it on its own terms. And please, stop only wanting happiness. There's so much more to life than feeling content all the time. The most important things you'll experience will have little to do with happiness. They'll be about suffering and heartbreak and joy and panic and fear and love and who you become through experiencing those things. You won't remember the days when you were just okay. You'll remember the moments of electric joy and crushing pain. The things that were defining and changing and miraculous and terrible and made you feel violently alive. Stop numbing your life because you're afraid of feeling it. The only beast there is to tame is the part of you that doesn't want to really live. Your 20s are a matchstick. They burn bright and fast, and before you know it, they're gone. You can spend them trying to preserve the flame, cupping your hands around it, protecting it from any wind that might make it flicker. Or you can use that flame to light something on fire, to burn down what needs to go, to illuminate what needs to be seen, to create warmth where there was cold. The choice is yours, but choose quickly. The match is already burning.